Welcome to our show once again on ND TV. Today I have in the studio a very, very intelligent man, a very vocal person within the MPP government. It is none other than Nana Ansah Obofour. Welcome, Nana.
Thank you so much.
First of all, what is your position within the MPP?
Yes, currently I'm the Director of Communications for the party in the UK, the entire UK. Yes, and it's one of the wing that is strong, which is dedicated to make sure we propagate the good workings of the party back home and externally to Ghanaians in the diaspora. And so I'm in charge of the party communications for now. I have 2 deputies and then an entire membership whom are dedicated to work hard to make sure the Ghanaian people understand the workings of government, what we've been able to achieve within the shortest possible time, and the task ahead of 2020.
Wow. Talking about achievement, during your manifesto and your campaign rallies, how many promises were made?
We made quite a number of promises, as a political party.
Right.
Before the Ghanaian people can entrust power into your hands,
okay,
you must go into a social contract with them. And you must tell them what you'll be able to do. Should they give you power?
Yeah.
And so therefore we made a number of promises. One is we told them we will be able to implement free senior high school so that every Ghanaian child will be able to go to school and at least terminate it at the secondary level. In our manifesto, that's a policy document that we presented to the Ghanaian people. We told them we will redefine basic education to include senior high school, because the old system was you start from kindergarten, you terminate at GHS, which we thought is unwise, because GHS, where are you going with GHS qualification? Even the prison service, the police service, immigration, they don't pick you up. And so therefore it's better to terminate at SHS, because if you terminate at GHS and you're not able to continue, your life will become so miserable. And so you have a lot of youth roaming about on our streets because of money, or they are not being able to continue. So we told the Ghanaian people, when we come to power, we will make sure we will implement free senior high school, which is part of our constitution. It's part of our constitution. The framers of the constitution told us after 10 years of implementing the constitution, we need to adopt a free senior high school system. And we've gone beyond that. So we have to do it. We told the Ghanaian people we have to industrialize our economy. There are a lot of unemployed youth around, roaming about without jobs. So what do? We need to curb rural-urban migration and bring jobs to our people at the rural areas, bring industries. And so we promised 1 district, 1 factory. If you go up north, the 3 northern regions, northern region, upper east, upper west, is entirely farming community. And they rely on rainfall, natural rain. But we can adopt a system whereby we can have rain or water for irrigation for the entire year. And so therefore, why is Burkina Faso, Niger, and Co are doing it, that they are getting more, planting more tomato, garden areas, pepper, onions, and we are importing from them, whilst we can do it. So we said, no, let's adopt to a 1 village, 1 dam system, so that we'll not always be relying for God to provide us with rainwater, but across the year we will get water for irrigation, so that we can produce more tomatoes or more vegetables, so that it will also be affordable. These are some of the promises we made to the Ghanaian people.
One dam to a community.
Yeah, 1 village, 1 dam.
Yeah, has it actually happened?
Yeah, of course, it's happening. And you see, our strategy is that we have this policy or program called IPEP, Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program.
Okay.
And we told the Ghanaian people we are going to make sure we allocate 1 million to each constituency. And those monies are for developmental projects. And dams or dugouts are part of developmental projects. And so we form 3 development authorities: the Northern Belt, the Middle Belt, and the Coastal Belt. So all constituencies which falls under the Northern Belt, all these monies are being pumped there for them to start this one village, one dam. And I can tell you, I mean, Ghanaians know what we're doing. Those are the grassroots. Those who live in those localities, they know what is going on. A constituency like Bongo constituency, whose MP is Edward Bauer, an NDC MP, we are building 10 dams within one constituency. And it's not like per se every constituency should have a dam. There are some communities. There are some communities which have only few people who are farming over there. You can't build a large dam over there. Okay. That's why we have dugouts and dams. So that's what we are doing. So it's ongoing. And you see, we have a 4-year mandate. And at the end of our 4-year term, we will go back to the Ghanaian people to tell them what we've been able to do. And that's the time we will make sure everyone, every Ghanaian will see what is happening. But apparently, I mean, they know. Recently, the president toured part of the northern, upper east, upper west, and we also saw on television so far the progress of work. So it's happening. It's happening.
This 1 million for each district, constituency. Yeah. Are you saying that you are giving it a gradual, or is it in one go? Because a lot of people do not understand that sort of thing. They believe other infrastructures, other developmental things that is being done, in their localities, does not come near the $1 million. It has to.
I know. You see, one fact is that pledge, 1 million per constituency. We were not pledging to give that money to individual MPs. It was a program that we drawn, that we put it up on paper, that is for developmental projects. So we have people who have gone down there to do research. What people need: boreholes, dams, schools, bridges, street lights, whatever. Even excuse my language, toilets. I mean, we know where we're coming from, and we know basic needs of people in such rural communities. So these are monies going down there to make sure developmental projects speed up. Because if you are going to rely on the common fund alone is not making people to see what is really happening. You go to some community, there are no bridges. There are rivers dividing two communities. There are no bridges. There are no toilets. No, look at ambulances. There are no ambulances. So these are all monies that we've been able to procure 275 ambulances, which are on way coming to be distributed across the constituencies. So the monies are for developmental projects. And people who go down there, they ask them what they need. They put it on paper and then make sure the 3 development authorities implement these projects for them. If you go to Volta region, even across the country, we are building warehouses at farming communities where we can store our foods. There's this situation whereby our farmers produce more, but it's all stuck in the farms. There are no warehouses to keep them. And so this part of these monies are being used to establish or build warehouses to make sure, foodstuffs will be stored there so that it will get to the market, which will be affordable. So the projects are ongoing, and very soon, as part of the plan or program for the Communication Directorate, there will be videos out there for people to see the progress of work going on everywhere. So I can assure you, work is progressing steadily.
Recently, you've introduced new constituencies to be added onto the current one. What was the need for that?
Yes, it's important. And very soon, I think we'll have the referendum. We are creating about 6 regions in addition to the 10. Let's take somewhere like the Uti region that we are creating in the Volta region. We have the Volta North and then the Volta South. You could see that, a lot of them lacks development. Okay. And we have to take development to everywhere. And so therefore, a situation whereby, if we take, for instance, the Volta region for development, the Uti region, if you take district hospitals in the Volta region, the southern Volta have 7, and the Uti area have 4. If you take number of public doctors in the Volta region, the southern Volta has 107 doctors, and the Uti region has only 7. If you take number of training colleges in the Volta region, the southern Volta have 7, and the Uti region has only 2. So it's like all the attention is within the southern sector, and the northern sector, they've been neglected. So if you create this particular Uti region, they will have their regional minister, There will be a DC over there. There will be other regional coordinating council, which their attention will be based on how to develop that part of the country. That's why you could see, you go to a particular region, some parts are more developed than the other parts. Maybe the minister comes from that part, maybe the MP comes from that part, and the other part have been neglected. And I think it's not fair. So it's proper that the national cake will be shared across board.
And that is increment of ministers and
Of course,
MPs.
I mean, we are a developing country, so any means that can help us develop, so that the people down there will feel that they are also part of the country, I don't think is needless or business. It's important, and the people are agitating. This is a constitutional process, and if the people over there brings their petition to the president accepts it, and it constitutes a commission to sit and deliberate on this issue. That is why the referendum, even yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that the petition that the limited voter registration that was done was illegal. The Supreme Court has quashed it. So it's the people over there who are demanding. Initially, when Ghana started, I don't think we started with 10 regions. We started from somewhere, and then we have 10 regions. So we are developing, and we are getting more people from maybe 10 million people to 20 to now about 30 million people. We have to, develop or divide so that certain people too who are neglected will feel part of the country and enjoy the national cake.
Corruption. A lot of NDC personalities are very vocal about when you guys were on your rally campaigns, tackling corruption. And a lot of people got energized by the fact that you were going to arrest a lot within the NPP or NDC government who were found to be corrupt and had misused public funds. What has happened to that?
Yes, thank you so much. Corruption is a national canker, and I think every government must be determined to fight corruption. The President, His Excellency, Nana Ansah Obofour-NPP is determined to fight corruption.
Right. And
he has started. Is the expectation of a number of Ghanaians to see key figures in the John Mahama administration to be behind, to be in court, prosecuting them. And I think they are right, because they witnessed 8 years of unprecedented corruption in our country.
Right.
Talk about Sada, Jida, Suba, Isofotun, quite a number of them that you can mention off head. And a new government is in. But you see, we have a president who is a lawyer, who believes in the rule of law. We are not in a military rule. And so therefore, you cannot just come to power and then you go to the people and then you be using military to be intimidating, picking people whom you perceived to be corrupt and then putting them at Gunda Barracks or whatever. Everything must go through a judicial process. And so if the Attorney General or there's been corruption cases which the government is fighting, and the Attorney General investigation has gone on through BNI, National Security, YOCO, and a docket has been prepared to the Attorney General, he or she is supposed to take the matter to court. When it gets to court, it's within the realm of the judge or the judiciary to dispense justice, whether within the shortest possible time or whatever. But we've taken quite a number of cases to court, especially a case like the Dr. Puni, who was the CEO of Cocoa Board. He's in court. He's standing trial on 27 counts.
Right. Of
course, in financial loss to the state, on false pretenses and whatever. If you go to NCA, quite a number of them are in court. If you go to SNIT and the Stormson and Co, quite a number of them are in court. But I can understand the frustration of a lot of Ghanaians that they want to see somebody like Jifa Ativo, who did the bus branding illegally, used public funds to brand buses, which, there are not a lot of evidence. We are all worried. Right. We are all worried. But what I would say is, we will urge the Attorney General to speed up processes, to make sure anybody who has misused public funds, whether a part of the past administration or even current administration,
right,
she must make sure she go to court to prosecute them. I've made contact with a number of government appointees, and what they are telling me is these are all based on legal issues.
Okay.
Remember, when they take a case to court, the accused person also have the right to a counsel. And so therefore, he's also going to defend him or herself. And so therefore I think we've been able to take a couple of matters to court, and there are a lot also under investigation. We have the special prosecutor, who is Martin Amedu, who have a lot of cases on his table to do. And so the president is committed.
Who exactly is Martin Amedu investigating?
Martin Amedu have...
I mean, you have the Attorney General, obviously.
Yeah.
But why do you need a special prosecutor?
You see, most at times,
right,
you hear this phrase, witch hunt.
Right.
Political witch hunts.
Okay.
Because they are past government officials. You are trying all means to prosecute them, whether foul or fair.
We have a constitution.
Of course,
right.
but you know the kind of policies we do in our country.
Okay.
So that is, you see, we are coming from a country where we have, excuse my language, a lot of ignorant people. Yeah. The moment they read politics into it, the case become, needless.
Right.
Every day on radio, it becomes NDC MPP. So why don't we adopt another way that will be independent from the executive? And so therefore, let's bring in a special prosecutor. I think it's practicable in other jurisdictions. So that is why the special prosecutor was brought, to make sure you are not under the direct control of the executive or the president, as will be seen like the Attorney General. But the Attorney General is part of the government and a party person.
Right.
So to some extent, maybe people may have the idea that the president or the executive can influence the Attorney General. So let's bring in a special prosecutor. And how it was crafted, which was passed by law in Parliament. We all know Martin Amedu. He's not an MP member.
Right.
His root is from
NDC.
the NDC, of course. Right. So if Martin Amedu, per the act, as it's been established, start working and prosecuting, nobody can blame the president of witch hunting or whatever. So I think we need to exercise some patience and let due process work, let matters of law, legalities work. Cases that are there for prosecution, the Attorney General should speed up, go to court, put the cases before judge in a court of competent jurisdiction, and let the law of the land work, so that anybody who has misused public funds will face justice, so that nobody will go and steal a goat or a fowl and then be put to someone for 5 or 10 years, and a politician will maneuver his or her way, and then steal billions of Ghana cedis, and then he'll be working and enjoying. I think, though I'm part of the government, but I think we have to speed up so that the confidence that the Ghanaians have in us, they will not lose that confidence. And I think the president is committed and is working hard, seriously, with the Attorney General and the other state agencies to make sure corrupt politicians or public officials will be brought to book.
Is John Mahama under investigation?
In what way? Quite a number of appointees are under investigations, especially somebody like the former sports minister, Nilante Van der Poel.
Right.
A sports complex was supposed to be built at New Dibiase. 6 million was paid to the contractor, but so far, nothing has been done over there. I heard him on radio talking a lot. But whether John Mahama is under investigation or not is up to the state agencies to be doing, such jobs. But what we know is quite a number of the Israel administration officials are under investigations. Those who claim double salary, the Harun Idrisu, the Abam Bagbin, the Jinapors and co. They have all visited the CID to answer questions. And I think at the appropriate time, they will be answering, or they'll be making their way to court to explain to the law courts.
Just before John Mahama left office, he decreased the price of fuel to the most minimum. You came to power and you've increased it quite high. And he's quite vocal about it, and I learned he's coming back. What's your take on that?
He will be vocal because he wants power back. So he'll be vocal, and that's the hallmark of every politician. If you want to come back to power, even certain things that you've done, you pretend you've not done it. Fuel prices, when we left power in 2000, let me say 6 January 2009, right. We all know where the fuel price was. They increased it to where they left it before we also came. And one thing is that anytime the MPP is in power, if you check the crude price on the world market, it always goes up. Mm-hmm. When NDC was in power, quite recently, 2 years ago, 2016, world crude price, a barrel, was around $38-40. It's now over $80 per barrel.
Okay.
And though we are exporter of crude oil, if you look at the trend and you compare to the time the NDC was in power, where fuel price is, I think it's quite okay. Because if fuel price is somewhere around over $80 per barrel, and we are buying fuel in Ghana at that price, and if you look at where in 2015, 2016, below $40 per barrel, and we were buying, I think we've been able to manage it to the average level that, I mean, Ghanaians can quite afford. Even during the coming weeks, it will come down. The price of fuel will come down because the price has started dropping from the world market. So fuel price, Mahama can choose to use to do politics, but we know him. I mean, we know the background of the NDC and John Mahama, where they took Ghana from, where Kufuor left it, the kind of economy Kufuor left, our debt to GDP, our growth, where we were growing, where we grew our economy to 9.6, they dropped it to 3.8. Now, within 22 months, we've been able to grow our economy to 8.5. So we are better managers of the economy than John Mahama. Clearly, the records are there, and now the indicators are pointing to the right direction. Ghana's economy is the fastest growing economy. Our currency, the cedi, was the weakest currency as of 2016, but now the third strongest currency on the continent. So the NPP, we are better managers of the economy than the NDC. We all know the kind of governance they gave us the entire 8 good years. Terrible economy, agriculture, nothing to write home about. Graduate unemployment. Look at the kind of unemployed graduates that we have. And within 22 months, a new government is being able to absorb about 100,000 of our graduates. It's a targeted group. Graduates, not youth employment. That is GSS, SS leavers, whatever. But this is a targeted group of a section of the Ghanaian people, graduates who are coming from the polytechnics, the universities, the training colleges, private tertiary institutions. They were just roaming about, jobless. But within 22 months, a particular government have been able to grab 100,000 of them. If you come to power and you have about 5 million jobless graduates, if you create 100,000, it's nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean. But at least we've done something. At the end of the month, they get a little stipend to spend. It's better than staying at home doing nothing. So I think, as for the NDC, they are just making their usual noise as a political party. They are in the opposition, and that is how they are supposed to do. That's one of their functions they're supposed to do. Because other than that, their supporters will be aggressive with them. So we are not, I mean, distressed or, more concerned about the noise of the NDC. The mandate the Ghanaian people gave us, what we told them we would do for them, we are focused, our eyes is on the ball, and by 2020, we will go back to them, tell them, we told you the national health insurance has collapsed. There is a huge debt, 1.2 billion to old service providers. There was no confidence in our health insurance. We pledged, we promised them when we come, we are going to make sure there is strong confidence in the health insurance system. We've cleared this 1.2 billion debt. Ghana was a country where about 5 years was plunged into total darkness. 5 years, it collapsed industries, it collapsed businesses. Every day you go to Ghana, you go to Accra, and all you hear is sounds of generators. Everywhere, radio stations, TV stations were all down. Within 22 months, you don't feel doomsday anymore, and industries are picking up. I mean, the ease of doing business in Ghana is now high. Latest figures show that the ease of the World Bank report tells you the ease of doing business in Ghana is now high. Inflation is down to a single digit. We met inflation somewhere around close to 18%, but it's now somewhere around 9.8%. Interest on loans at the latest Bank of Ghana figures tells you interest on loans, it was hovering around 26-27%. It's now around 18%. So now the private sector can go to banks to access bank facility or loans to expand their businesses. So I think within 2 years we've done well. If every government comes to power, and what the president, the Kufuor, has done within 22 months, did what we've been able to do, I don't think Ghana will be where we are. If you go to the rail sector, the rail sector, the massive works that our Honorable Minister Jogate is doing is marvelous. Very soon, we have rail from Accra, from Tema to Atimpoko to the Volta region. We have the Western Rail Line. We have the one from Nyenehene to Chebi to Nyenehene to the Northern region. We've now signed a pact with Burkina Faso to make sure there's a rail system from Buankra in Ashanti region, which will travel up north to Burkina Faso. We are all doing this project, but it's a gradual process. So for us, it's not to the finishing point. People will still be saying, what are you doing? But I think in due time, from next year going, we'll be doing a lot. When we told Ghanaians we have money, we are sitting on money, but I mean, we are not saying what we can do with our money. People were thinking we are lying. If you go to Nyenehene in the Ashanti region, we have this bauxite which is stuck underneath the earth, doing nothing. What do you do with it? We've gone to China. We are not going to borrow money with China. It's a barter trade. We are telling the Sino-Hydro people to come and do projects worth 2 billion. Build bridges, build roads, massive infrastructure work. And then we've gone to Parliament to create a corporation, Ghana Integrated Aluminium Bauxite Corporation. It's a Ghanaian company like the Ghana Gas.
Okay.
So we are setting that company, the corporation at Nyenehene, in the Ashanti region. They will refine the bauxite into iron ore, and we will quantify 2 billion. And then the Chinese will come and do 2 billion worth of projects in Ghana.
Okay.
And then we give them that. So it's not like China is coming to mine our bauxite and they will just take what they want. No. It's a Ghanaian company, corporation, like Vaco, that is going to mine the bauxite into iron ore. And then we will quantify 2 billion and then give it to them. And then they will do 2 billion worth of projects, building a school, renovating existing school, expansion works. Look at the Free Senior High School. If we had renovated a lot of these our existing secondary schools, we will not be faced with these accommodation problems to go into double tracking. But because we brought Free Senior High School, a lot of our children, a lot of parents want their children to go to school, to access Free Senior High School. I am a student of poverty education. And what I face in my secondary school days, I don't think every Ghanaian child should go through that system. That is why we want every child to go to school. And so this is the situation. You've come, we have a huge number. What do? Do throw them away and say you have to build schools, you have to finish building schools before they come in. No. Do you know the kind of life they will lead out there? So think outside the box. Think outside the box. That's why we brought in the double tracking. Yes, think outside the box. This is the situation. You don't tell the Ghanaian people who are paying you, their parents are working, they are paying taxes, and they are paying you that you can't think. So I can take 100, the 300 they should go away. No, let them go. Make sure you think outside the box. When secondary school vacates, the buildings are there doing nothing. Government is paying electricity. When it's dark, the lights are on. We pay electricity. So when school vacates, why can't we use those dormitories and the classrooms? So we divided them. The first batch will go and learn, they'll come home. Then the second track will also go and make use of the classroom blocks, the dormitories, and the structures over there, which are idle. When the children come home for about 3 or 4 weeks, no one is there. We just give it to some churches for convention and whatever. But we can use it at this emergency situation. Very soon, government get fund are putting up more structures, and this double tracking will be off. So this is a government that think outside the box to make sure the needs of Ghanaians are met. But we had 8 years of a regime. All they told us was building some school somewhere. If you go to Achumamponwa, there's a village called Adubeira.
Where is this in the region?
In the Ashanti region.
Okay.
Ashanti region.
Right.
They put out some structure in some forest. No light, no vehicular movement. How can children go to such environment and go and learn? Meanwhile, those monies can be used to expand existing schools. But that's what they chose to do. So that is the NDC. But we are MPP. We have a different formula. That's why there's difference between NDC and MPP. So, Mr. Andy, so far, 22 months of a Kuvadas governance, and I can tell you, we've done a lot. In terms of agriculture, planting for food and jobs, marvelous. Even a former NDC MP has testified. The former MP for Jurassic Jedumase, Honorable Alaje Pangabu, he just last week or last 2 weeks, he told the public that he's been able to hang on to the system and has been able to even acquire a Toyota Land Cruiser V8 from the Planting for Food and Jobs, which was launched just last year, somewhere August. You get my point? So this is the part that is bringing in policies to help alleviate the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian on the street. When the president launched the NAPCO at the Independence Square, see how our Ghanaians were so, happy.
Temahabo and import duty. What is happening to it?
Yes,
because I know the
import
yes, and you have an electronic system.
Yeah,
but yes, but it's still quite frustrating to still clear goods.
Yeah, of course.
Out
You know where we're coming from. In the system that you try to bring, you have people who try to
sabotage it.
Of course.
All right.
And because previously they feel maybe they were given from certain maneuvering, but we are trying to block the system, and so therefore they will also try whatever they do to sabotage. But I think the paperless has really helped a lot. It has increased revenue at the port, make sure there's transparency. Though people are complaining that the import duties are high, I think last time I listened to one importer, and he was testifying that formerly when you pick your things to Ghana, maybe you want to send a car to Ghana, you put on the way bill or whatever that it's a car. But meanwhile, that same car, you have a fridge in there, you have a washing machine in there, you pack quite a number of things in the car. So when it goes to the port, maybe they're not detected. But now there are mechanisms. There are scanners that can detect everything. If it's a car, they open the container, take the car, anything that they sees in the car which is taxable or which the authorities must tax or put the relevant duty on, they put it on, and so therefore to make your duty go high. But I think government is working hard to make sure it reduces some of the taxes. In our first budget last year, we reduced quite a number of taxes at the port, import levy, and a whole quite a number. Those who import, raw materials to manufacture medicines, quite a number of taxes were reduced. I think we have to do more. And as is a gradual process, as we move forward, I think the economic team is also ears on the ground, listening to the cry of the ordinary Ghanaian, those who do import and export. And I think taxes will come down, and then the port people who are doing import and export will also have a relief, so that the prices on the market will be quite down for everyone to afford. So the processing time at the port, whether it takes long or whatever, I think we also have to help ourselves. You are a Ghanaian. Why should you be at the port and have the thinking that you have to sabotage a system that is beneficial to the Ghanaian?
Sack more people. Replace them.
You see, there's a problem. This is public service work, and you cannot just get up and sack anybody.
Well, it has to.
I know.
Yeah, of course. If we have to go, especially when we have to follow core processes, and you have a new system which is being introduced to help. Obviously, you can either put up a system where you can, disengage with people and then move the country forward. You cannot just for the interest of 1 or 2 or 3 people head in the Tema area to sabotage the growth of Ghana.
We know how customs work. I think our ex-president, President Mills of blessed memory, announced did some work at the port and uncovered how the revenue officers they take monies bribe from people. So it's all boils down to corruption. It's part of our canker that I think we are fighting, and I think we also have to help ourselves. But the NPP government is working hard to make sure we will fix everything, every mess at the port, and make sure that there will be relief at the port. 2 years. We are comparing 2 years to 8 years, and I don't think. It's fair to the NPP. We inherited a very terrible economy, very bad economy. We all know where Ghana was where in 2016. But I think gradually we are coming out. Look at the banking sector.
All right. Join us straight after the break and we'll talk more about the banking system and the loans. Thank you.
Maintaining a presence at the forefront of a global issue with the desire to help others come to a resolve in personal and business affairs is why Andy D Legal and Immigration Associate was established.
We specialize in overseas British passport applications, bails and temporary admission, deportation and detention cases.
The profound pattern in achieving positive results with fragile cases in immigration, nationality, European Union and human rights law, adoption, marriage, divorce, litigation, and so on, up to date, has been broken, and that is why our client base continues to expand.
We also do representations at the UK border agencies and overseas consulate, human rights law, and settlement and leave to remain applications.
We have the right keys to unlock any case across the spectrum of law, locally in London and across the borders in Ghana, where our other branches are established.
We are located at 44 Broadway, Stratford, E15 1XH. Our telephone number is 0203 1300 751. Welcome back. Just before the break, Nana Ansah Obofour was just about to talk to us through the banking system. Nana, what has happened to those collapsed banks? The Beige Capital, Unibank, and the rest. There are about seven banks that.
UT Bank and the rest. Yes, thank you so much once again. As I told you earlier on, we inherited a big mess,
right,
which the banking sector was part of it. You see, when we were campaigning and during the numerous lectures the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, then running mate Bawumia, did or had, he prophesied, I should put it so, he told us that there are quite a number of Ghanaian banks which is in distress, and if care is not taken, they will collapse.
Right.
That is what we are confronted with.
Okay.
Yes. All these banks, their books were not in good order.
Right.
Their books were not in good order. Total chaos, total shambles. And so as a regulator, the Bank of Ghana cannot sit. Well, that is why that's their time. But as the regulator, we cannot sit, or as a government, we cannot sit for depositors' monies to just go waste. We all witnessed what happened in the DKM system, era. And Ghanaians who have toiled, who have worked, deposit monies with banks, and then the banks will just collapse and their sweat or monies will just vanish into thin air. No, we cannot just sit as a country or as a bank, as a government or as a regulatory body of supervising the activities of these banks, and then sit aloof, and then one day we just wake up in the morning and then Ghanaians will just be wailing, demonstrating, calling on government to come in. So we have to put in pragmatic measures to make sure depositors will not lose their deposit with this bank. So we went through the books. We brought in KPMG and other auditing firms to audit all these banks, and what we uncovered was total shame. And so government or the regulator must revoke the licenses of all these banks, bring them into a one bank, Ghana Consolidated Bank, so that deposited monies will still be there for them. I don't think what happened in the DKM era, where depositors lost their capital, has happened. No depositor in this time lost his or her capital. So I think it's the best way to go, because it will be sad and suicidal for us to sit down and one day UT will announce going into liquidation, capital, beige, whatever. What is government going to do at that particular moment? So we have to make sure we sustain or protect our people so that their money should be safe. And it's so appalling that we sat down for this to happen to our dear country and our people like that. So that's the situation, the kind of governance or economic management that the NDC gave to Ghanaians in the entire 8 good years under Kofi Wampai and co. You see, in this country, Britain, we can count the number of banks in England. NatWest, Halifax, Santander, Barclays,
Barclays.
Lloyds, TSB, whatever. About maybe 10 or whatever. But look at Ghana. A small country with about 30 million people. You every corner that you pass, you see a bank over there. And you see other financial services. These savings and loans, these savings and loans, these savings and loans, just springing up everywhere. You don't know where they're coming from. And they will tell you, if you deposit your money, we are going to give you 10%, 15%, 70%, 20% interest. So you'll be interested to go deposit over there. But a lot of them were running a Ponzi scheme. A lot of them were running a Ponzi scheme, which they were taking depositors' money, and then they would just collapse the bank, and then go and establish another bank with a different name. That was what they were doing. A lot. The financial sector or the banking sector was so terrible. So we have to clean up. We have to clean. Though people lost their jobs, that is the best way to go.
Right.
Because if not that, all the same, the banks will collapse and people will lose their job. Yes.
Right.
The bank will still collapse. DKM collapse.
Yes.
People lost their jobs.
Exactly.
But depositors couldn't have their money back.
Of course.
We have to come in, Nana have to come in, and then, get a liquidator to pay them. To pay back the money.
What I find so interesting, how did you guys manage to, take in a very fast approach in instructing an auditor and all that?
If you have a competent team,
right,
that is what happens. Because when Dr. Bawumia knew what was happening, he was a former deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
So he knew what was happening, how the economic management team at that time, how they're handling things, and how the World Bank reports that are coming in, the IMF reports that are coming in, the rating agencies, Standard & Poor, and that are coming in everywhere. So Bloomberg. So clearly, Ghana was heading to a ditch.
Right.
Yeah. So when we came in, pragmatically, we have to make sure we save our people from total collapse. Because we cannot sit down one day, the banks will collapse, and then people will lose their jobs, depositors will lose their capital.
Right.
No. It didn't happen. A typical example is the men's gold situation.
Good. I was just about to come there.
Of course.
Right.
You have a license to do gold, to buy gold, but not to do gold vault operations.
Okay.
If you want to do, a proper job and follow the laws of Ghana, you have the Bank of Ghana, we have the Security Exchange Commission. These two bodies are the regulatory bodies in Ghana, which supervises all financial institutions in the country. The Bank of Ghana issued out publications cautioning or warning the Ghanaian people to be careful about their transactions with men's gold.
Right.
But the way their terms and conditions was so attractive, people, it fell on deaf ears. So people deposited, they were getting money, huge money. You put 100 million or 10,000 Ghana cedi there, you get about 10% interest, whatever. So people thought it was a good deal, so they should go. But no, it was wrong, because men's gold don't have the requisite license to do that operation, but they were doing it.
Why caution them and not actually investigate them at that very point, put them to stop, rather than cautioning Ghanaians who probably might not even understand what this is all about? All they know is an institution has popped up and they're saying, I deposit my money, I get probably a higher interest than going with a treasury bill with Ghana Commercial Bank, for instance.
That is why.
Why caution? Why not stop? I don't have the license to operate. Why not stop it earlier?
That is why we put the blame squarely at the doorstep of the former government.
Okay.
Men's gold didn't start last year.
Right.
5 years ago.
Okay.
And they were doing this.
Right.
At the time, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, I think it was Dr. Kofi Wampa, they were there. And they just kept on watching.
Right.
They have a supervisory division of the Bank of Ghana that I believe that they had supposed to be doing that. But they all went to bed.
Okay.
So a new government came in, and then we revisit. We tried to do a cleanup of the system and check the license of every financial institution, whether it's a bank, savings and loans, or whatever. And then we uncovered that this is what is going on. Nana Ansah don't have the license to operate a gold vault operation in the country, but he was doing that. They wrote him. You can't just wake up and just collapse or shut down a company.
Right.
You need to caution him, write to him to come to sit down. But if he's not, come to terms with what the regulatory body is doing, then there you have every right to make sure you close it down. So that was what happened. Because last year we thought this is happening. We are cautioning you, depositors, be very careful about the kind of transaction you are doing with this firm or whatever. But it came to a realization that no, what they've planned to do is what they are doing, and the laws of the country must work. And so they applied the laws, and then I think they ceased operations, and now their customers have now come to realize that what government was telling them is the right thing. Initially, they thought maybe it was this normal witch hunt. We just came in, and a young man, a Ghanaian, has established, a job, and he has come to the UK market, gone to Nigeria, and want to just collapse his business. People are going to lose jobs. But no. But later, they've come to realize that no, what the kind of operations that was going on there, it was illegal. And if care is not taken, they are losing their capital. And it will be suicidal. People will hang themselves. So we need to shut it down. And Nana Ansah, I think he's a very good citizen. He accepted it and stopped that operations and made contacts with their customers, went to terms with them how to pay them their dividends, and they are now demanding their how do they call it? Their principal. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You get me? So I think we've heard some of these situations. If the NPP had not won the 2016 elections,
right,
we wouldn't have uncovered all this mess.
Okay.
But I think now Ghanaians will be wise enough to know the kind of business or financial service they enter into agreement with. Because we cannot allow Ponzi schemes to be moving around or to be operating in the country, taking people's money, and then within a short time, and then it will collapse. No.
So at this stage, is Men's Gold in operation or not?
They are not in operation.
At all, in general?
They are not.
Because at some point, they had some announcement to come out to say, we are still in operation. Some part of it is still in operation.
That was then. That was when they think their lawyer Kwame Okufu can challenge the Bank of Ghana, the Security Exchange Commission. No, you can't challenge. A state institution which have the legal framework to supervise. The banking sector. So they came to the realization that no, they have to hold on, and then make sure they sit down with these two bodies, the SEC and then BOJ, and then trash out all these issues if they meet the requirements for them to come back to operate. It will come from the Bank of Ghana, then the SEC. So they are no more in operations. Yeah.
What are you telling customers, investors at this moment? Are you advising that they actually go for their principal as well?
I think yes. They have to get their principal back. I think so far they've come to the realization that what they were doing was an illegal business,
right,
and it doesn't fall in the realm of the laws of the country. And they have to get their principal back, and they start a fresh investment with the legal entity that will help them, because it's hard to come by money these days, and you cannot get money. Go through terrible situations, and then you just throw your money away. So I think they have to get their principal back. Make sure when they are investing, they get the right institution. They have to make sure they have the license to do the right thing in the country before they put in their money over there.
Is government assuring investors,
of course,
that they will also get their money from Men's Gold?
Well, I don't think we've come to that stage like the Men's Gold situation where it was a total collapse and government have to come in to get a liquidator to sit down, and government have to take out public taxpayers' money to
secure it.
To give back to the people. I don't think we've reached that situation. But in any case, government is there for the people, and so if the time arises for government to come in to save the situation, like those who are saving with Capital Bank, Unit Trust, Unibank and Co. I think government is for the people, and they will rise up to the occasion to save the cry of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Men's good at this moment. You believe government foresee they could settle investors?
Well,
I've seen it's an individual.
Yes, I've seen a number of write-up or press release from Nana Ansah. Last time I listened to the deputy finance minister, and he was saying it's not likely Men's Good will even come back to operations again. But Nana Ansah, the CEO, has rebutted that Men's Good is here to stay. So let's see whether they can have their way out in a proper way to start a fresh operations within the legal remit of our country, or if they don't meet the standard of the Bank of Ghana or whatever, maybe they can go. But I don't think government must come in at this time to say they are settling people's principal or deposits for them. Let Bank of Ghana handle it. Let Bank of Ghana, Dr. Addison and Co. handle it. Nana Ansah too, I don't think he will disappoint his customers because he's a businessman. Other than that, in other business he tries to put up in the country, the confidence will not come, and it will be detrimental to the progress of his other businesses. So I don't think he will disappoint his customers. I think he has to adopt a better way to talk to his customers. Their monies, tell them their monies are safe, and they will get their money back. That is what is important. What customers are demanding now is to how they will get their money back. So government is there for the people, and that's why we have the Bank of Ghana who have taken this matter up. So let's see how it will pan out.
Right. Kwesi Nyantakyi, sorry, has recently been banned.
Of course.
But investigation that went on revealed names of His Excellency, the President, and the Vice President. Nothing has actually happened from there. Do you think Nana has been quiet about it for some obvious reasons, or he just won't?
Nana has not been quiet. Since the matter came up, and Nana got to the realization or had a hint that Kwesi has used his name to try to deceive some so-called investors to come to Ghana. The president was quick to draw the attention of his lawyers, and then they advised him to call in the police CID to immediately arrest Kwesi Nyantakyi. And so I think that was done. So where Kwesi was, he came down and met the police CID, and he was interrogated. He gave out his statement. Yes, from there, we all saw the Anas video, number 12. And the content of the video. Anas petition state institutions who have the responsibility to do further investigations and then prepare whatever document and then put before the Attorney General for possible prosecution. He petitioned FIFA. FIFA is a football governing body, the highest football governing body in the country. They have their disciplinary measures, their disciplinary code of ethics. And if you breach it to the highest order, it's a total ban. So I think that is what FIFA did. But I can tell you that government is not sharing Kwesi Nyantakyi. I can show you correspondence between FIFA and the Deputy Attorney General, Godfrey Dami. All evidences that FIFA gathered to come to a final conclusion, which is the total ban from all football-related issues on Kwesi Nyantakyi. It was the government of Ghana, through the Deputy Attorney General or the Attorney General Department, that furnished FIFA to come to that conclusion. Whilst ongoing investigation is going on in Ghana. There are more correspondence. FIFA wrote to the Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Dami to furnish them with all documents, even the 2014 Jamefe Commission. When we went to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, you know, there was a lot of malfeasances. So we set up a commission, the Jamefe Commission. FIFA, we gave all those white paper, all these documents to FIFA. So it was a collaborative work. So those who are saying we've done nothing and we are trying to shield Kwesi Nyantakyi because he's a close ally of the president, and when he won, he congratulated the president. So therefore, the president is involved. It's a fallacy.
Okay.
If the president indeed wanted to shield Kwesi Nyantakyi, the Attorney General, who is the principal legal advisor, the chief legal advisor to the president or the government, will not release vital documents which are confidential to FIFA.
Right.
And I can show you the email communication between FIFA and Godfrey Dame, the Deputy Attorney General.
Right.
So we gave them all this information because FIFA is in Zurich.
Okay.
The General Commission report, they don't have it.
Okay.
You remember, I think last year or so, when the president had Meet the Press encounter, one sports journalist, Countryman Sungu, asked the president, what is he doing about the government white paper on the Jamaica Commission? And he said no. He was factual and he was realistic. And he was truthful that no, it doesn't come to his attention, but he will make sure it will be looked at. And so when this issue came about the number 12 video and the bribery scandal, all these documents involving Kwesi Nyantakyi, which we feel that will be enough evidence to implicate him. When FIFA demanded it, we submitted all those documents to FIFA.
Okay.
And FIFA cannot put Kwesi Nyantakyi to jail.
Right.
No, it's not a law
It's
court.
not within the remit.
It's not a law court. And so therefore, they've banned him. Kwesi can appeal to go to the CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sports or whatever. But in Ghana, a lot of work has gone on.
Right.
And you see, before you take any matter to court, sometimes people are of the notion that you go to court and a judge will just take the person to a jail. No. You must build a docket to make sure you convince the judge beyond reasonable doubt. Though FIFA has banned Kwesi Nyantakyi, but if you're not a good lawyer and you take FIFA's stance or the reasons for the ban on Kwesi Nyantakyi to court, maybe you can lose in court.
Right.
Yes, of course.
Right.
It's possible.
Right.
So in terms of prosecutorial matters, it's a matter of time to gather more evidence, the Nana's video, the Jamefe, and other relevant evidences that you think when you go to court, the judge hearing the matter will be convinced enough to prosecute or jail the person involved. And Kwesi too is entitled for a counsel. His counsel will come to court to come and defend him. Yeah, so I think in matters of law, there's this phrase that says, the wheel of justice grinds slowly. So I believe in that. Let's relax. Let's let the law take its due course. And I think anybody who has come in terms or who has flouted any law of the land will find himself or herself at the appropriate where to sleep. Yeah, so I think Kwesi brought all this shame to himself.
Right.
Yes. Though he has achieved quite a lot within the football circles, but I think it was time for him to say bye-bye to Ghana football than to be there for this shame to come on him, his family, where he comes from. I think it's a total shame. I know him personally. The Black Stars qualified for the World Cup for the first time under his era. The under-20 won the World Youth under-20 under his stewardship. And he's done quite a number of things that are pluses to his name. But I think what he did was terrible, total shame. And he has to blame himself. Yes, he has to blame himself.
Okay. Finally, John Mahama says, if Nanado can't drive the car, he should step down for the owner of the vehicle to take control.
It's laughable. But I can understand his frustration.
Right.
Yes, I can understand John Mahama's frustration. You know, when we're going to the 2016 elections, they said a whole lot about the Kufuor.
Yeah.
One, his health.
Yeah.
They used it as a campaign tool. His age.
Yeah.
They used it as a campaign tool. At times they said the man had cancer.
Right.
So he cannot even survive in 1 year.
Okay.
He'll be dead. Everything. And so they were surprised that a young man like John Mahama, who's around 59 or whatever, he's not even 60 years, will be defeated, will be humiliated unprecedentedly in the annals of our history by whooping 1 million votes by a 72-year-old politician. And up to now, the kind of work within 22 months he's been doing, moving up and down, working, not sleeping. As I speak to you now, they are at a retreat, brainstorming for the upcoming budget. So if he backs off, it's a total disgrace, and his political career or life has been cut off. So he has to come back.
Okay.
So you have to make so that it will ginger the supporters, bring some relief. Mahama. He will move around and talk. And I think he's a former president. So whatever he says, the media will pick it up and it will become a national issue for people to discuss. So Mahama can never ever become president of Ghana again. Mark my words. What is he coming to do? No. What is he coming to do? John Mahama, 8 good years. From 2009 to 2016, economy, he destroyed it. Our education system, what did he do? Electricity tariffs. When we came, we've been able to reduce tariffs.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it before. I haven't heard it before. We've been able to reduce tariffs on electricity, industries, households, agriculture.
He's boasting of the Terminal 3.
Terminal 3.
Yes.
Terminal 3.
Yes. And
he told us anybody who uses infrastructure as, a campaign issue is exercising in mediocrity.
Of course.
That Terminal 3 can build about 3 brand new airports.
Okay.
That one terminal cost the taxpayer $275 million. How? $275 million. It can build about 3 brand new airports. Brand new airports. And he used that amount of money, just a terminal. Having Terminal 5 in UK, Heathrow, it's not going to even cost that.
Yes,
it's not even costing that. Go to Kenya, go to Rwanda, go to even Nigeria. Buhari just inaugurated or commissioned their new terminal in, I think, Abuja or wherever. It was somewhere around $50 million. And one terminal, $275 million. Look at the circle interchange. This every government do infrastructure work. Who built the Kwalebu Teaching Hospital? Who built Kompanochi? Who built the schools, my schools, Tech? Who built it? It's one or the other government build it. Every government does infrastructure projects. So these are not issues. What the people need is economic revolution. How to salvage them. Social intervention program. But the ordinary Ghanaian, the parent who, because of high school fees, the son or the daughter has qualified to go to secondary school, but he or she don't have, or the parent don't have maybe 2,000 Ghana cedi to pay as admission fee for the child to go to access senior higher education. These are the issues that we're talking about. Social intervention that helps the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. These are issues that the people need. They go to the market, they want to buy garden egg, tomato, pepper, onion, cassava, tubers of yam. The prices are affordable. So you have to strengthen the agri sector to make sure there are abundance of food that they can buy. When you go to the health sector, you can't tell me you build a hospital that costs the taxpayer so much. And when the ordinary Ghanaian go to that hospital, he or she can access healthcare because we owe service providers, and then they'll turn them away. So what is the use of that hospital? What is the use? To build a hospital, then you go and you can access healthcare. What is the use? So make sure you get money to pay service providers to access. Look at road infrastructure network. They told us they built a number of roads, but everywhere you go in Ghana, chiefs and everybody is complaining about poor road network. The Eastern Corridor roads. Just last 3 weeks, the roads minister, Amakwata, paid about 50 million to the contractor to construct the whole Sokode part of the Eastern Corridor Road. If you go to Western region, we've castled. If you go to Kumasi, the Eastern region, we've devoted money for road facelift across the country. He comes from the northern part of Ghana. Go to north, upper east, upper west. If he believes in farming, agriculture, or irrigation, 8 good years, what did he do? He told us he's doing some sada, guinea fowl, and afforestation. During the dry season, then you go and plant trees, and all got bent. Waste of public funds. So as for John Mahama, he's finished. Mahama, I don't know how John Mahama came to rule Ghana, but I think
Was it by mistake?
It was a mistake. And it ought to happen to see the person called John Mahama. So the work that the MPP, since last year we took power, we are doing, the energy sector, the economy, the agri sector, the educational sector, I mean, it's marvelous.
Wonderful.
And by 2020, we will tell the Ghanaian people a very good story.
Right.
And they will see for themselves the developmental projects that have gone on, from railways to road infrastructure to hospitals to schools to good potable drinking water, constant electricity, agri sector, education. I mean, free SHS is even enough. Even job creation.
Right.
Yes, the forestry commission alone has employed 20,000 youth. Cocoa sector, the cocoa sector, we inherited somewhere around 750,000 metric tons. We are now closing into 1 million metric tons. Where we left them before we left power in 2008. They brought it down.
Right.
But because of the proper policy, the cocoa pollination, we are now hitting 1 million metric tons.
Wow.
So Mahama can move around and can make noise, but the Ghanaians are discerning and they are wise enough. They know Akufo-Addo, every promise that he made to the Ghanaian people, he will deliver.
Good. Amen.
Thank you so much.
Your last words to the viewers.
Well, what I would say is Ghanaians should have hope,
Right.
and they should still have confidence in the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, his vice, Dr. Bawumia. We are clearing the mess we came to meet. The economy is now stable, is in good standing, and joblessness, unemployment, we are making sure we are curbing all that, and we are bringing in more policies to help the ordinary Ghanaian. And I think the president is indeed in a hurry to make sure the vision he has for Ghana, he will fulfill it, and Ghana will be a country where everyone would love to live. Investors are now coming in. One district, one factory is ongoing. More factories will pan across the country for our youth to get employment. And so therefore, I will urge Ghanaians to have confidence, believe in the Akufo-Addo, and I can assure them we will deliver. And come 2020, they will give us the mandate again.
Come 2020, Nana Obofour believe you will give them the mandate to rule Ghana again. Join us same time on The Hour Show next week. Thank you and goodbye.